And Sabaho, everybody. Sabaho, hope you guys are doing well. Um, I decided to use the intro that comes pre-built in, mostly because I didn't want to use the one that Juan Carlos and I have for the best of our week. They're both connected onto the same account, and yeah, audio seems to be working okay. Hope you guys are doing good. I see a whole bunch of people. Man, congrats! Well, first and foremost, I want to say thank you for everybody for joining us. And of course, that Vasikos is in there. Ahlan Sabaho. Mark Majid is in the comment as well. ER 1980. Hey, good morning, man. Sabaho. Sunny London. Davin Davis is in the comment. El Josa is in there as well. Wow. Okay. I was late. Okay. So I do want to say I am sorry. I apologize for being a few minutes late. I it's been a weird last couple of days for some reason. If you had an opportunity to check my history, my search history for the last couple of days, the word Tesla Model 3 would be literally splashed all over the place there. I'm still kind of on the fence. I've been talking to a few people, and I want to kind of like also talk to you guys about it, see what you guys think about it. Um, it is something that has been interesting me for a while. I test drove one a few years ago, maybe I want to say maybe 2.5 years ago, and obviously this is pre-pandemic and so on. But yeah, let's see who else is in the chat with us here. Of course, StreamYard. I see ER. Yeah, definitely. I never thought London was like Seattle, as many people do. It depends. I guess it depends on the weather. I've been to Seattle and I've been to London a couple of times. Well, I've been to London a lot more than Seattle. Um, London is definitely a lot more. I would say, at least London, just going downtown, spending time there. That's generally where I've been. Typically, is a lot cooler and generally more overcast than I've seen at least Seattle be. Although they both tend to have a lot of rain and they both tend to have similar weather. But I would probably say, depending on the time of day, but they have a lot of similarities. I'm with you there. Let me see here. I think there's a whole bunch showing here. Gerd's in there. Good morning. Welcome back. Hello, Davin. Hey, Dave Burns, man, David. Um, Aline Effects 2 is in there as well. Young is in there as well. Good morning. Earl Owens as well. Hey, so I do especially be late as I so there's a lot of things going on. I had so as you guys probably remember, obviously I've been kind of building it up for the last few weeks. Tomorrow is the big day, and tomorrow is going to be the B Alpha event in about literally maybe 24 hours, a little bit over. It's going to be in the afternoon Pacific Standard Time, so like 2 p.m. If you guys have thought about it and you want to check it out, that's at least my segment. There's a lot of other things going on in the Alpha event or the B Alpha event from Sony. And my goal, or at least my portion of the presentation, or what I'm doing, is obviously on the Xperia Pro. So this is going to be the main guy that I'm going to be covering tomorrow. Thank you, David Burns. Thank you very much. And basically, the main thing that I wanted to kind of get ready for yesterday was make sure we can log into the portal. It's a web-based interface, so I need to make sure that I'm able to log in. Connection was great. A little bit of issues though. It's weird. Like, I know we kind of fixed the problems on StreamYard, but it seems like whatever I was trying to do yesterday, there was a little bit of a network congestion or something. Maybe it could have been middle of the day on Friday, whatever. You have to kind of keep in mind everybody else using it could have also played a factor. And when I do it on Saturday morning, typically the traffic is not as bad on most networks. So we'll see. Tomorrow's going to be Sunday afternoon. It's the 28th, the last day of February. So if you guys would like to join, there's a link in the description on the YouTube side, as well as I'll obviously post it again this morning or just later after the show is over, for everybody that wants to be able to check it out. They are going to have other things going on. So if you're interested in alpha cameras, and if you're interested in Sony ecosystem, Sony and Samsung, Sammy, no. Yes. I don't know. I don't know. So Gary's asking, he's like, who's going to be the surprise guest today? I don't know if it's physically, I don't know, it's realistically possible. I mean, okay, let's just say this. Last week, total coincidence, total out of the blue. I mean, with the exception of possibly knowing that Josh could potentially be up, and be wanting to be able to join and so on. That was to me I would say the only option that I thought that could have happened. Everybody else, having Jaime in there, having, what's it called? Dave Amell, and of course we have the Unlocker, and then last but not least Michael Fisher as well. all of those were surprises. All of those were like on the, it was just like honestly tons of fun, a lot of great people hanging out. So I want to say Team Sony, of course, Joey as well as like definitely, and ER saying like definitely TK. Hope you do well. Everything goes well tomorrow. I hope so too. The anticipation, or at least that I'm going for right now, is um, I mean, you guys know, obviously we do events, and I've done events in the past, but typically I'm not on the stage, basically like on a panel and so on. So for those type of conversations, I haven't been on for quite some time. Although no problem with basically being, on the spot talking about things, especially things that I know, that things that I've used, and obviously we've done content on. So the Xperia Pro for me, and using it with the A7S III, which is the other setup that Sony did send me with the hardware they they sent me to show off tomorrow. Unfortunately, a loaner. I would have liked for it to be a keeper, but no. But we are actually, in a sense, talking on a Sony A7S III as well. So that camera that you guys normally see me through, the one we always do, this nice little buttery smooth, super fast autofocusing process going on, is in an A7S III. It's Sony through and through. Here, you need to get Michelle from XDA, and absolutely. So Michelle and I, first and foremost, go way back. He and I have gone to many places. We've gone to London, we've gone to Shanghai, we've been to quite a few launch events, like OnePlus events and so on. So yeah, Michelle and I kind of go way back, and we did kind of collaborate as well on the last couple of videos that I did on Android 12. So a lot of the information that I referenced in those videos are based on the website, on the XDA portal, and of course we work together to kind of get things together, running there. I'll have to reach out. I'll have to see if Michelle kind of is open to it, keeping in mind that the time difference, as he's, I think, Central Time, as opposed to where I am. Definitely. Damn. Yes. No. Sony autofocus is seriously crazy good. Like, I never have to worry about having any kind of seeking or anything, which is one of my biggest reasons why I left the GH5 ecosystem. I love the camera. I love the setup with the flippy display, the 4K 60. A lot of the things that the GH5 offered were great, but me sitting here and me moving my hands a little bit always caused a little bit of issue with the autofocusing system. With this one, there is just nothing. I can flail my hand all day long and it wouldn't have any problems. So yes, no, definitely. I want to see, maybe we can we can get them, and we can talk a little bit more about Android 12. I did push out a separate video this week about in a weird way, secret features that may or may not end up being part of Android 12. And when we say that, is we mean that essentially these are features that were hidden or turned off by Google intentionally in the first developer preview one. So some of those things that we were able to show in the last video, the Android 12 hidden features one, are referencing things that could be coming in, like the stylus system, the smooth UI, or the silky smooth, the UI element in the settings tab, that's new. We have a different permissions tab that could potentially be working there. But the ones that I really I hope that Google does allow us to keep them are the notification panel toggle for what is it called? I think the microphone and the camera, and you can basically system-wide turn it off from the notification panel and never have to worry about it. So that's something that I'm very interested in. Other than that, I think overall the aesthetical changes that we saw there, like the pinch and zoom on the picture-in-picture, stashing it to the side was also nice. Surprisingly, that feature is kind of already present on Android 11 with Samsung devices. Samsung allows us to actually have picture-in-picture and to stash it to the side. It just hasn't been part of the native AOSP or the native Android experience, at least not till Android 12. So potentially something that could be coming. I do want to ask the question, maybe throw this in the comments for everybody in there, and you guys can let me know, obviously. Have you, or do you own, or have you used a Tesla? A Tesla of any type, meaning a 3, a Y, an S, an X, there's a whole bunch of S. So there's a Y, X, Y. Yeah, essentially it's trying to spell the word sexy, but with numbers, depending because on the cars. Dave Burns is saying, my queue. I love that one here. So he's responding, it's in the queue for listening to my audio podcast, guys, usually, but I try to chat with guys before. It's so awesome. It always works out really nice. So it's a very interesting experience. So David Burns is saying, basically, I'll never be able to afford it. And obviously, there's different ways of getting one. It's not necessarily, just outright buying it. But I agree with you. The pricing for the car is a little bit more on the higher end, and the 3 being a car that is considered to be the smallest of all the cars that Tesla sells right now, is a little bit interesting. The one I test drove is definitely more of a smaller, sporty experience. It reminds me a lot of the cabin. Kind of reminds me a lot of what I used to use with. I used to have a Toyota Celica back in the day, as well as a Toyota Supra, like an earlier generation Supra, not a new one. Um, did you get it? No, no, dude. It's starting to kind of come together. It's kind of coming together, and it's working out pretty good. But I may do a little bit of buzzing tomorrow before the show. We went through yesterday, and I kind of made sure, like, hey, you guys, cool Dragon Ball stuff. That's, it's gonna be in the background. Is that cool? They were really nice with that. Um, it'll be one of those interesting. So Gary's actually for the Supra. Yeah. So if you guys remember the Toyota Supra from the Fast and the Furious, I mean, I didn't have that model, but most people will remember the Supra if they don't know what model Supra it is. So it was I would say more of the sport version of what the Celica used to be. So they used to have a model called Toyota Celica. It was a hatchback, 2-door, sporty kind of car. It wasn't a sports car. It was definitely more of I would consider to be the slower model of the Supra. So the Supra was an inline straight six engine. It's an inline straight six engine on it with a stick shift, and you had the option to get it with turbo, which made it obviously much faster. So the cabin experience in the Model 3 reminded me of it, because it was kind of, it's obviously lower, it's more compact, it's very kind of concise, and everything is right there. But the last time I got a chance to check it out, again, it was about a couple of years or so ago, and I think it was in probably 2017. So even then, the model I rented for a couple of days was interesting, because that to me was like a very different car, like electric car, charging it, working it out. In my area, there's only literally one supercharging station, so that's another thing that also kind of factors in. But I'm still on that edge. I've been talking to a couple of people. I reached out to Saf, I reached out to Miriam Jouar, which is tech girl as well, and I know quite a few tech people or tech in the tech space that are Tesla owners, obviously. So Davins, remember, so 90 Supra is one of the most Japanese cars. Dude, absolutely. One of my biggest regrets in my life, as far as when it comes to automobiles, was going from a Supra to a Honda Accord. I don't know how I justified it. It was definitely an upgrade in a certain, obviously newer car, but the Supra to me is a car that I will always miss. I love the tires on that thing. I mean, it was basically literally like hugging the ground when you're driving it, and it was basically flat. You know how most of our car tires right now have that nice little curvature on the top? Well, the Supra tires are specialized racing tires, and to have more grip on the ground, they're actually designed to be more flat on the surface. So even when you're driving it, they're more like racing wheels. And I remember I had to replace one of them once. I forgot. I remember how or where the accident, well, not accident, but the flat happened, and I did have to replace one. So that was one. Toyota. Oh, see, Earl Owens, Toyota Celica. I remember those nice cars back in the day. Yeah, and they used to even have the Toyota Celica GTS. Like they used to have the Gran Turismo, Gran Touring on them. It was a good car, honestly, for a first car to get into. It was an automatic. It wasn't a stick. Like you don't really feel the power. It has overdrive on it. I remember all of these interesting concepts there. Didn't have obviously a CD player. I had to kind of use the cassette player in there and a whole bunch of things. And at one point, I upgraded to the Supra. So to me, the Supra is, for the most part, I feel like my the really fun car that last time I was able to drive. And when you try the Tesla, when you try a Model 3, I haven't driven any of the other ones. I've been in a Model X, but I haven't driven the Model X. It's that kind of fun. It is that kind of fun. Like I was sitting in it a couple of years ago, and my wife and my son are with me, and accelerating with that speed and having that feel like G-force feel in the car was definitely very cool. But it was that feeling there. So it's a sportier version of the cars that Tesla puts out. So that was really mostly what I was kind of looking into, and why. Oh man, the Skyline GT. Okay, nice. See, this is the thing. Cars are a very personal thing, but they also have so much. They hold a big part of our memory, because we have a lot of emotional connection to it. You know what I mean? Like a piece of tech that does so much into our lives. Like in traffic, traveling from one place to another. Um, get the Sony Vision car when it's released. Man, I wish we can get that. I honestly wish we can. The money part is going to be the biggest factor, because for me, I would need to have some kind of trade in into it to bring down the price a little, because it's a little hard. It is high, as and I think we mentioned earlier. It's not exactly an inexpensive car, but financing there's no discounts, there's no deals, there's no Tesla is pretty much basically what you see is what you pay kind of thing, with obviously local taxes and so on. There are still some incentives in California. Not a lot, not the way it used to be, like around the 7K or whatever. Now it's like closer, maybe 2 or 3,000, depending if you qualify. So I'm looking into that. I'll hang on YouTube, dude. No, definitely. I know there's the whole mixture between the two, fat produce, of course, and I don't. Did you guys already go, Andrew? I think you guys were going to be going from one. I thought you guys were doing some type of move or something. Um, so David Burns is actually kind of pointing out pretty good. It is a big investment. It is a big factor. Obviously, we're not driving as much right now, but at some point, we're going to need to go back into somewhat of a normal life. And I say that in a sense, meaning, going back to going to the office and so on. So we'll have to kind of work that part. Get paid for a Sony review vision. You know what? I would love to be able to check out more Sony's things. My hope tomorrow, obviously, is that they appreciate the work. They appreciate what we're able to do, and that we can turn this into more than just kind of a one-off. I'm just being realistic kind of a thing. So I don't know future-wise. This event, I think, for the most part, kind of came about, I feel like, because as you probably as I was talking, I use Sony cameras for everything. That's pretty much my main experience when it comes down to streaming. My experience when I'm filming. My overhead camera is also a Sony, and then my A7S III is my secondary camera when we were traveling to events and shows. I typically don't need a flippy camera to be able to get the experience. But again, now if we're able to make the Xperia Pro a part of my lifestyle, depending on how things go after the event, it's going to be part of partially how I actually access the A7 III, because the A7 III doesn't have a flippy display, so the display on it only kind of flips backwards up, so more of the control from the back. But if I want to use it as a front-facing experience like the way we're using it now, I really have no way of using it realistically in the field, other than basically connecting to an external monitor, and then it has to be stationed. A whole bunch of things have to go on. So yeah, Fat Produce is like, yeah, we're moving this month. We're looking into buying houses. Actually, congrats, man. I wish you guys the best of luck. I know for a fact it'll be a lot cheaper than being here in California, but I hope you guys find the house that makes you feel like it's a home. Oh, okay. So I think we just got the thing. Yeah, we've been moving. We're going tomorrow or Monday. Yeah. So David Burns is saying, take a look into repairs and maintenance with the Teslas as well. They're a bit snarky with that stuff when things break. Partially, one of the things I've been, like I said, if you search if you looked at my search history for the last couple of days, I did look into a few videos when it came down to repairs and things like that. When it comes down to basically cost of ownership after a year or 2 years and so on. Haven't found many people complaining much about basically a lot of weird repairs. Failures or breakdowns in the actual car that are covered by the warranty are typically taken care of right away. The only problem, or only thing that I've seen people talk about basically servicing is basically changing the brake oil once every 2 years. And I think rotating the tires every 10,000 to 12,000 miles, which is typical to what you normally do with a regular car. It's it's hard to explain because I don't have obviously, so I don't know how to explain it in that way. But it seems to, because it's not a motor, there's no motor, there's no oil to change every 10,000 miles. There's no spark plugs. There's no all of the things that we normally understand the car to have that we typically service on our regular cars are obviously not as much of a concern. But to Devin, to basically to your point, you're right. When things do break outside of the warranty and so on, it could get pretty expensive, especially when it comes down to that battery that's in there. Everybody or every video that I've seen seems to be on the same consensus that you treat the battery on the Tesla the same way you would treat batteries on our smartphones. We don't need to keep them at 100% all the time. You more than likely like to keep them between that 15 to 20 to 80%, 90% at the most. And unless you really need to push it, you then fill it up all the way. So short answer, it looks like it's pretty simple to take care of. from driving it for a weekend, for the 3 days or so back then, I can tell you that the only thing that I had as concern was, and most of the time, was the mile anxiety, always being worried that I don't have enough miles or enough power in the system to carry me wherever I wanted to go. So that would be my biggest. That is actually one of my biggest concerns. It's you need to figure out exactly where you are. Make sure you are in an area where there is a charger, or you're able to charge the car. And right now, like I said, my area has a supercharging station. It's about 7 or 8 minutes away from me. So it's not super bad. And it's by a grocery store, which is even better. You can drop off the car, go do some groceries, come back, it's done. The issue that I'm having, yes. So Earl Owens, I think that was what I was trying to remember. I think, when MKBHD, but with Marquez's situation, I think it was an accident, right? That was a different situation, but you're right. Repair on cars like this are expensive. I did look into the insurance part of it, and it looks like insurance will go up a few hundred, I think, every 6 months, the policy, the way we have them here. And it's one of those things that you kind of have to, let me see here. It's one of those things that you have to kind of keep in mind that any car would need to be repaired. We have insurance for those things, obviously. So those are going to be the things that obviously I make sure that it has insurance to make sure that it's covered. Yes, I saw that one, and I think Matt is not in the comment, and I really, so Aditya is gonna kick me for this because he told me this a couple of weeks ago, and I didn't get a chance to circle back and try to get it in there, but so short answer, the goal on the repair, that I'm looking into that. The most insurance companies also offer a repair warranty, but I don't want to kind of keep stacking that stuff. I may look a little bit around to see what Tesla offers, because it seems like in California, Tesla offers insurance for their cars. And only in California. So I want to see how their rate is. If it seems like it's cheaper for me to get my insurance through them, I may end up just making that if I decide to go with them on the car. It seems like it's more. It is more. It is, but it just, for me right now, it just feels like it's more fun to enjoy. And is it worth the extra cost? Is it worth trading in from we have a truck here, so that we're going to be trading that in if we do go with that. My biggest thing right now is trying to figure out the configuration. Really, there is Autopilot that is built into the car. That's that feature where it allows you to, if you're on the freeway, it keeps you basically running at a consistent speed, and then it keeps you distance between you and the person in front of you. So it's kind of like our cruise control plus. That part is included. The other option that they're offering right now is the self-driving feature, which I was watching Super Sap's video on his car, because he has a Model 3, but he has the performance model. I don't think I'm considering the performance, because again, that's like way up there. The standard model or the long range will probably be where I am. And it seems like self-driving option, or the full self-driving option right now, is a little bit more, where it's more aware of the environment where it is, but it also is going to come with a feature where it allows the self-driving feature not to just work on the freeway, which is what the current model offers, or the current bundle offers. And it seems like it will also work on surface streets. There's also that whole futuristic fleet where essentially the car becomes so self-autonomous that you can literally, basically, on the days that you're not using the car, allow it to go basically like become an Uber per se, and it goes around and does pickups and drop-offs for people, and then you basically make money from just having the car, and it kind of pays for itself at some point. So yes, no. So David Burns, exactly. The autopilot option that is standard, by the way, it used to be a feature, and now it's a standard feature. So that allows us to keep the distance and the speed set on the freeway in a lane that you're in. So if you turn it on, the car recognizes the lane record, where it is. It uses all the cameras. All of those things are going to be really a lot of fun to be able to kind of enjoy and use. I tried it out like a few years ago, but back then they didn't have the autopilot, not the autopilot, the full self-driving function of it. They had a feature on the autopilot back when I tested it out, that when you have autopilot turned on and you click the blinker, if you click the left blinker to say you want to move left, the car moves you to the next side, to the next lane. So it wasn't intuitive as it's supposed to be now. So that part we'll have to see. But Timmy, hey man, welcome back. It's always weird with YouTube, man. Honestly, it's weird. I can tell you that on the Xperia Pro, let me close it, see if I can. Yeah, come on. So on the Xperia Pro, it showed it up. it's on one of my accounts, obviously, so it knows if it knows it's me. So maybe that's probably why. But yeah, so that part was in there. Welcome back. The autopilot is definitely very nice. Uh, Joe, if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, Joe, I think put out another Instagram account that basically features a lot of his monochrome images. If you haven't had a chance to check it out, uh, he went with a nice walk. Like to hear you guys are doing well, dude. Always good. There's Joe. Oh man, typos. Yeah, no, my typos are pretty bad. It is late, man. It is late. So those are the things kind of like on my mind. Now, March is. Remember last year when we kind of all like started talking about the whole like how busy things are going to be. We're starting to see information and launch events and dates being announced and so on. So there's a lot of things going on. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the RG Phone 5 is going to be launched in March. I think the Red Magic 6 is going to be launched also around that time, because that's some of the stuff going on. We know at least, there's going to be potentially other devices being launched that we cannot talk about so much. But the goal is it may end up being a busy month for a lot of us. I forgot to mention to you guys. So I have the Axon 20 also in the office. This is the device with the in-display or behind the display camera setup that I'm working on a video for you guys, hopefully early next week. As I just kind of want to get through tomorrow, as that kind of puts me back into my normal flow of work. And then, but there seems to be like a lot of other things going on if we really kind of keep a track of the devices. We saw a couple of days ago that the K40 was announced, and that one's more region specific from Redmi. And then there's obviously the announcement that it's going to be coming up for another launch from Redmi next week. But I'm thinking that's going to be more global. So there's a few things going on, and I'm trying to figure out better ways to kind of incorporate and put things together. The face mask that I showed you guys yesterday is actually a video that I'm also working with the company called Creative Designs, and it's a cool. Oh my god, it's so much fun, but it's not as fun as this guy. So they sent me as well a full face mask, like a full mask. So I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, this is like a full mask that comes along with basically like a goggle configuration on the back. It has a battery built in, USB-C charging on it as well. There's an app control to be able to update. And I have it set up also. Oh, and it also has gesture support. So you can actually activate a gesture function and basically swipe your hand in front of the display, and it switches around between one display to another. Dude, can you guys imagine if we did the show like this? Like, let's say I do this. Okay, right? We start the show up. And I don't know if we can keep the sound right, but let's see here. Okay, so I'll bring down the microphone a little bit lower. And if we just did the show entirely like this is the new TK. This is the new show. Just keep looking at the circle. You're falling asleep. You're falling asleep. I'm working on a video for this. It's a lot of fun. I can tell you this much. My son is going bonkers for this. Every time he comes over, he's like, can I have the mask? Can I have the mask? So we took it out last night, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I don't think the audio would have a problem. The SM7, the SM57, hashtag hypnosis. This is how we get you to stay, man. We just start the hypnosis early in the show. But the one I showed you guys on Wednesday when I was with Juan on the best of our week was the really, really cool one. So let me go ahead and turn this guy on. The battery on that one is actually a little bit low. So this one is just like a standard face mask, which is what we use. So let me see if I can get that one here. So LEDs all across. It has a battery pack sitting on the left. And of course, it's rechargeable. And what I really like about it also, it actually has a filter pocket to be able to make it really functional for what we normally use. The best way I can explain these is if you've ever been to a rave, if you've ever been to a trance or EDM-based concert of sorts, this type of tech is actually not very foreign to them. But as far as, for users and so on, since we have to wear masks, since we have to obviously, use this on a daily, obviously, we want to go out. Why not make it fun? Why not make it cool and enjoyable? And they're actually not bad. They're easy. There's a few zip ties in the back. So short answer, a lot of nice little things that I'm going to be working on. I was going to try to push that out yesterday, but the Tesla Model 3 kind of took Friday became a blur. So that was pretty much what I was literally like, I was going through a spiral or a chain of videos between, maintenance, ownership, features. Um, the big thing that I'm actually kind of a little bit on a little bit of a downside with that is that there's absolutely no integration still with any type of Android Auto or CarPlay. Not that I care about CarPlay as much; it's more on the Android Auto side. Just for the ability of using the assistant, that's really 90% what I like. It's the ability of asking questions to the assistants when I'm driving, looking for things. Now they have their own infotainment system, which helps, but I feel like, I want to be able to control my lights at home. Let's just say that I want to be able to turn on the lights at home when I'm driving home without having to buy third-party accessories. The assistant did that for me. So we'll have to see how that goes. Um, Let me see here. I think hypnosis that, don't know what, okay. So, oh man. Yes. No. So the masks are, so the face mask, the standard face mask is really just more about making the mask a little bit more fun. Okay. So for me, wearing a mask like this when I'm going out, and by the way, this is not the only design that it does. It actually works with, it has one feature which, oh man, I think this is going to be the best part. So I think this would be really cool. Let me turn this on. I'll set it up. But it actually has a voice recognition feature, which allows it to actually recognize my voice. And it actually has a bar graph upgrade. So let me see. Can we get this thing running here? Of course. And it is active. Okay, let's see here. Oops, that's not what I meant to say. Okay, let's do this here. So we're going to turn on microphone mode. Audio. Okay. So here, this is really the selling point for me, which I really felt like was really, really nice. So that we need to extend this a little bit. So imagine jumping in. So, and being on a conversation and your voice is basically being graphically represented on the screen as you're talking. So for me, it's like a lot of fun. Obviously, I need to be a lot louder for it to make more sense. But here, just having it on the side, it works great. It doesn't really cover the beard as much. And it has a lot more modes, which are very, very, very good. I got to stop the NFC tag. Now, it also supports music, which if you're listening to music, let me see here. Here, so you guys can see it. Yeah, I mean, it almost looks like we're talking. And there's other things which I feel like here. Let me see. Can I show this here real quick? So here, there's this guy, love, and oof, right there. There's $, of course. A lot of fun things. Anyways, it was more here. That was really the one I really liked. It's just kind of like keep pulsating in that mode. And of course, the Matrix, last but not least. Halloween, in case you guys are in the mood for it. There's even a way of writing your own words. So hold on, let me see. Can I get this one here? TK Bay. So here. Hold on. I thought I had it. Oh, here it is. So we'll send it one more time. And here it is. Make sure you like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you know when we have new videos. Always. So a lot of fun. A lot. Apps. Oh man, yes. Gary. Yes, I saw that one. Daft Punk. Big, massive news to start the week. The separation of an amazing team. Never. TK Rave Bay. A little bit of background information, if you guys, just for reference wise. I listen to trance, dance, and EDM, I would say about 90% of my week. Almost 90% of the music I listen to is like either, so I listen to DJs like, Armin van Buuren, Nifra. I listen to basically, Martin Graphics, obviously when we had just other type of just tech dance, anything that has a really good BPM that goes with it. Typically is the music I listen to. My son and I kind of share that a little bit. And of course there's some R&B and things, but I've gone to raves and things like that as in a sense for many, many years in the past, in my younger years, let's just say that. But Daft Punk separating is a big, like I don't know. It's very hard to kind of, see how things are. Obviously, a lot of people are big fans of them. They're still, a very massive, French group that's been together for a long, long time. I don't know how things are going to basically change in the sense of how things are going to be produced, but obviously they're separating, and So Chemi's jumping in with that one, and I think so. Razer, the Razer, I think it's called the Hazel program. Razer announced a program where they had a face mask that had, obviously it's this clear see-through option with two air filters and a microphone and speaker option that are built in here. So air circulation will obviously be better, but also sound will also be better because it amplifies the sound from the inside to the outside party, so that you don't have as much of a muffled sound. The face mask that we're talking about here, obviously, one of the biggest thing about it is the fact that obviously there's an LED panel in front of us, right? So that LED panel is going to block some of the sound, but not a lot of it. So it depends on how you use it. Let me just go ahead and turn it off so we don't kill the battery. It is also rechargeable, obviously, and you can buy the filter separately. We'll have more of a dedicated filter video for that one. But Project Hazel hasn't been announced as far as pricing. They just showed us a demo of it around CES, like last month. And one of the things I'm really interested to seeing about it is what they can do with it and how much is it going to be. The one that LG put out that did have somewhat of a similar fashion experience with the air filter, that was around 300 and 400 bucks. So we'll have to see how much Hazel ends up being and if it actually ends up being one of those things. I want to set a mask. Dude, absolutely. I pay the shipping. I almost for sure. Aditya, you can use you could use that for the OnlyFans. Aditya's only Juan's fans are going to be, yeah, no, for sure. I think I missed one. So that was the one I was trying to get the guys over with this, because it does have a feature where you're able to bring up like a custom image. So, but the problem is the custom option that they have right now is where I can write what I want, and that's what I was able to add it. But I was trying to see, hold on, let me see here. I'm bringing it back. Here, let's go back here. I got to bring it back here. I couldn't find an option for it where it was providing me the ability of adding an image. So here's an image. So that here, there are static images, DIY. Let me see here. Can we add? Nope, that's not what I want. Dang it. So yeah, trying to figure that out. My main thing was I was trying to figure out a way to get it to add an image. I can add text, which works great. But here, let's go back here. So DIY. Okay, it does not seem to give me an image option. Like it has built-in DIY options, but I can actually create ones, but it doesn't seem like it adds images. The face mask, though, the face mask does. So the full face mask offers us that. But I'm talking to them. I am talking to them to try to see if we can get that logo to be showing up on there. Hopefully in the next update. That's one thing that I liked about this one over some of the other ones I've seen. It's that the app will be able to push updates and they're adding more designs so that it actually gets better as time goes on. It's not necessarily you just buy it and whatever's on. And it looks really nice. A lot better, obviously, in darker experiences, which is what I kind of showed you guys on Tuesday when we were with Juan on the best of our week. Gary, oh man, yeah. Oh, okay. Gary the first, DT, only one fans. Joe Hickey said you should try to put you should try that track on. Okay, on her uses the sound test as his for his videos. Turn out the light and put the mask on. TK live rave stream. You know what? That'll be the fun way to start that rave channel that I've always wanted to kind of start. Break out all the trance music and stuff. Davin Davis, could we? Okay, TK could be. It could be a good feedback for company. That would really be good. Yeah, no. The main benefit about this is the fact that they're open to communication. That was the biggest thing about them. They're very cool. They have I think if I'm not mistaken, I think a Facebook page and an Instagram page, and that's how they interact. We need to get Joe. We need to get Joe better at typing, voice dictation. We need to get that running better. Are you using Gboard by any chance, Joe? Hold on, let me see here. I just got buzzed by somebody. Nope, all notifications. TK should put that track. Oh, okay. Okay, now I understand what we're talking about, Joe. Yeah, no. So my hope is I'm able to get something like that running by tomorrow. I can tell you though, the face mask. I kind of want to show it to you guys with the logo because the face mask is where it does the job much better, because if you think about it, right, you get the ability of actually seeing the entire logo. So let me see here. Let me connect one more time back. So it's app controlled, and there's a lot of cool things that kind of go through here. Okay, let me see here. Let's get add. Okay, it's active, and we're gonna go under add. Nope. So I had like a Sabajo kind of going in there. DIY. Let me see. Can we do the DIY? Picture. Nope, not there. Here, DIY, pull it up, go into gallery. And I thought, oh, here it is. Okay. So we're going to bring this in. Or you guys are going to like this. Save it. Okay. So this, you gotta, yeah. So yeah. I obviously it's not aligned all the way, but if I ever do decide to shave the beard, this is how I'm going to start and keep the show going. I'll have this on. You guys will see the logo. You'll know it's me. You'll know it's definitely the 100% me. And you guys will definitely appreciate it. So imagine if the show would just trade it off, starts off like this. And then we're pretty much just set to go. The logo's there, you know, everything is cool. The beard even comes a little bit under it here, but overall looks really like any crazier things than this for a show, for a channel. Obviously, we could do things. So the logo, on the bigger one, the logo looks absolutely great. You're able to see through it, by the way. I don't know if I kind of showed it to you guys. There's 2 openings for your eyes. It does have a good placement on the nose, and it has nice rubber separation, so you don't build up a lot of heat or condensation. And it actually has a sensor that's present right there at the top. So here, let me, oops, sorry. There's an actual, I want to say an IR sensor, but I'm not sure. It actually, once you activate it, you're able to basically swipe your hand, and then you switch from different modes and different views. So a lot of a lot of fun things to do. The creative designs. Hold on. Let me see if I can actually give you. And oh, speaking of which, I forgot about that part. They are doing a 20% off code for anybody that wants to get something from them. They are not sponsoring the channel here, but I'm sorry here. I don't know. I showed it, but I didn't get a chance to talk about it as much. Let me say here. I don't want to switch over messaging applications with Facebook. Facebook decides to be very fun on here. So creative design view page. Oh, custom creation studios. So here, copy. Let me see if this thing is not going to get bonked. Okay. Sorry. So that's the site. And if you use code TKBay, you'll be able to get 20% off your order, which is a very, very good deal from them. And they're very nice. They're very nice, and they have different designs. There's 3 different type of masks, but I only got these 2, which are very, very nice. Look better than the gas. Earl Owen is, yeah, no, definitely. Unfortunately, the face mask doesn't have any protection. It doesn't really. I mean, if you're comfortable using the face shield as the protection as opposed to an actual face mask when you go out, it would work. I feel like it's more functional for fun and kind of like going out and hanging out and type of an experience. It's not very, the vision through it is obviously very, I would say, center focused, because of obviously it's a small opening, but it's easily put up as up and down. So it's not hard at all. Let me see here. Oh, man. If we got a best of our week with TK's mask on logo and one on his face, yeah, exactly. Well, actually, on that, so remind me on Thursday, because sorry, let me. You say things, and it's. I always want to say it's not like I haven't thought about it. So here, let me see here. One, switch it over. This is all we need. It's TK. The only problem is where the eyes kind of sit right now. It almost looks like their eyebrows are very like thick eyebrows going on, but those are where the openings for the eyes are. It is. I thought about it. I thought about it as well, opening it up and checking it out there. But it's one of those really cool things. Like I said, if we can make things fun, it becomes much easier to put on. I can tell you this much: for me, the biggest bonus of this essentially is the ability of having Omar just come out with us. We go walking, and he loves going out just to play with it, and it becomes easier for them to keep the mask on and not have to worry about taking it off all the time. But yeah, oh man, I think I'm skipping a whole bunch of lots of fun made things. Yes, no, definitely. So those are the things. Some of the things coming up. I'm actually kind of looking forward to seeing what some of the if some of these leaks that we're seeing on the Xperia One Mark III is going to be kind of true, because it seems like it's a from a designer or cosmetic design, it didn't look like it changed a lot, or at least some of the ones that Jermaine put out. But the renders and the leaks that we've seen are actually pretty consistent with what we've seen with the Xperia One Mark II. Um, I hope at some point we're going to have Android 10 or Android 11. Hold on, let me, while I have you guys here, I just news, everything is jumping on. I didn't get a chance to check and see if I did get Android 11, but I sincerely don't think it's going to happen. Verizon's starting to push out Android 11 on the V60, so I'm hoping T-Mobile will be very close right after that. So that's actually very exciting. So yeah, Joe, I saw the lead. It was one of my things that came up. I think it was like a few hours ago. Potentially a Pixel Fold, like a Pixel style device that is made by Google, by Pixel, by Team Pixel, obviously, and it will basically be a foldable device for use. So it's Google's approach. The render that I saw, at least, sorry about that. The render that I saw at least looked very familiar in the sense that it was looking more on the outside. And so I don't know if it's right or wrong, but at least the display looked like it was going to be on the outside part of the system as opposed to on the inside, which is what the Z Fold 2, and then of course obviously the Mate X. The Mate X2 going to have in this generation of foldables. I feel like a lot of people have noticed that internal displays that are more sensitive than the external should work better this way. You shouldn't have your display that could potentially get damaged very easily on the outside. I did see that the 7.6 screen from Samsung, which I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, Samsung obviously has the technology to be able to get, yes, good OLED panels that are foldable. The question would, my own thing would be honestly is the optimizations that Google has to put in there to get things to run. Split screen, obviously, it needs to be optimized to be used. So I think this is where, if they do end up releasing something that is foldable, we'll start seeing the native support for things. Or are they going to absorb what Samsung was doing for the foldable, for the three configuration, right? When you're running 3 apps. Google, I think, may also just focus on the dual app functionality, because that's what they originally have. And they're going to basically focus on more what can they do with that ecosystem, the improvements, the optimizations, the getting the UI to draw correctly, the settings tab, the email tab. Will we have more tablet view into this as opposed to what we've had in the past whenever we open up email or settings? And that's going to be something that I would feel like are going to be interesting to see what Google does, because they've optimized Android 10 to work on tablets. They've also done optimization on 11. 12 will have more functional things in there, and those are going to be the things that we'll have to see how they go. Unboxing Mania, man, good morning. See the Pixel Fold rumors. Yes, it would be fun. No, I am doing okay. It's unfortunately, it's a little bit of the coffee that I have in the water went in the wrong position. So that was mostly what it is. Chemi's wondering if everything is doing okay. Yeah, no, luckily things are doing fine. We're getting closer. So no mention, or at least no availability for. I don't fit any of the categories that are available for the vaccines in the coming future. At least at this point, starting on Monday, in my area in California, they're opening it up to people with the pre-existing conditions that are basically between 16 and I think it was like 65 or 70, or I guess whatever the other gap. And unfortunately, I don't fall into that category. No pre-existing conditions or anything like that. So we'll have to see. Hopefully, when it opens up to our side, and then there's obviously more and more things being made available, and new things coming up. The overall experience, I think, that I'm really excited about tomorrow is getting through that, obviously sharing it. See, hopefully I get to see, we get you, some of you guys to hang out with us. They are going to allow people to post questions into the actual live stream, and I'm going to be working with another gentleman from Sony. So it's going to be a two-person team that you're going to notice there. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going to be managing the question part of it. So he manages the filter, getting the questions, and then posting the question on the show. So he'll read the question, and then we'll go from there. It's 30 minutes, so it's not a lot of time. I know it sounds like it's a lot, but in reality, before you know it, 30 between a few questions here and there, introductions, hands-on, things are going to go pretty quickly. But yeah. Oh, speaking of which, yes, the Pixel 5a leaks that we're seeing right now are very, very exciting to see. That additional sensor at the Pixel 5a level is definitely very nice. I obviously Pixel is going to double down on the design, and I'm hoping that they stick with it. I had a conversation with a friend of mine recently that was hoping for Pixel to go back into the mainstream, not mainstream, but like a flagship type of an experience. And I honestly felt like what they did in 2020 was the smart thing, which essentially is focus on the core experience, provide it at a much better price, and open it up to more people. The Pixel 3a, or sorry, the Pixel 4a sold out before it was even available on Amazon's site at the time of announcement, and that was something that is very interesting. Sorry, let me double check here. I hope it's not a package, and if it is a package, we'll have to do a little bit of a break. Oh my God. Oh my. Okay. We're going to have a really good lunch. Let's say that. The Pixel 5a was definitely, in my opinion, I think it's the continuation that we want to see. Adding that second sensor makes it even more of a compelling story. And as long as they're capable of keeping the price where it is, or at least around the 350 to 400. Last year, they did a price drop at the launch event where it was cheaper to buy the 4A than it was when 3A came out. And I felt like that's what the big kicker for it. Right now, I'm running the Android 12 beta, or not beta, the developer preview on my Pixel 4A. And that is like it's a champ. The phone runs smooth, no problems. I did a clean install just for point of reference, so I didn't do an upgrade, although you can. And from that sense, I'm really interested to see what the 5A has to bring. My hope, though, is that if they're going to continue with the same story, are we going to say, are we possibly going to see 5G on the 4A, on the 5A, because, what we're going to see with the names. But the other thing I'm also hoping is at some point, once 5G becomes more of a standard name, I'm hoping that we just drop having to say 5G, because when we say the name of a phone prior to 5G starting, we understood that the phones are all 4G LTE, or they're 4G support. The word 4G didn't have to stay there as much. So once we get to the point where almost like, with the new Snapdragon 490 supporting 5G, we have the new Snapdragon 870, the 888, and there's a lot of other versions of Snapdragon processors. My hope is that we start seeing some of that 5G drop, because can you imagine the Pixel 4a 5G, the Pixel 5a 5G is going to be a very tongue-twisting kind of a name. Oh, Ronald Collins playing some BattleTech. See, you're playing BattleTech. That's your kind of jam there. I was playing some Call of Duty earlier this morning. Joe knows what we're talking about. They dropped a massive Season 2 update that we have a new map, at least in Black Ops, and of course in Warzone. Oh man, the silos, the weapon silos, the changes to the map, which I felt like, I guess I wasn't really too bad. I like the train station, but I never really kind of spend that much time there as far as traveling. For the most part, I prefer either by using an ATV or just using like a helicopter that's just travel from one place to another. But the weapon silos were definitely very interesting, and I'm getting a chance to obviously play with both. So more Call of Duty. It is definitely very nice. Ronald Collins, of course, is in the chat. Good morning. Oh, so Marcus Johansson's asking is, what camera do you use for recording the show? There's two cameras that I use. The primary camera that we're talking about here is an A7S III. It's not obviously this one. It's an A7S III, Sony, obviously. And then my overhead camera is actually a Sony Handycam, the 4K Sony Handycam that does a really good job focusing, and it keeps track of where things are. And of course, just easy, lighter piece of tech to have it sitting here. And for the most part, whenever I'm outdoors, I'm either using an A7 III or I'm using whichever smartphone that I have as basically like B-roll accessory kind of videos. So those are typically what I try to keep them there and going in with it. It is. It is. I'm gonna have to try to see if I can get that to trend tomorrow in the show. They were very nice enough to actually allow me to use my logo. So the logo that you guys see here on the show, right there. So my logo will be in the show. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be so much fun. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep tonight. I'm seriously very excited for tomorrow. I've done things before. I've worked with other brands. Sony is a brand that I'm a big fan of, and I'm a very big proponent of what they offer, especially when it comes down to their cameras right now. Like, as far as basically, computational photography, Sony does a very good job in providing us really good lenses on the cameras there. And honestly, a 4K panel on a smartphone like this is like the second generation. Sorry, so we had the first original Xperia, the Xperia One, and then of course now the Xperia One Mark II. So I can't wait to see what they have to offer. I just want to get, I just literally want to get Android 11 on this so we can get 4K 120, which is available on the Xperia 5 Mark II, but also the ability of trying out that external display usage on this smartphone. Because if I can use an external display with it, then this kind of becomes my pseudo Xperia Pro, obviously without the ultra wideband and some of the other benefits that come with the Xperia Pro. But it's definitely a very good thing, and I think Sony is definitely hitting it out of the park. So, and it looked, at least from the renders, that the headphone jack is sticking. So it definitely in there. Uh, Ronald is saying, I'm more of a Battlefield, not much into Call of Duty. I kind of jumped on a Call of Duty bandwagon from jumping in from like Apex Legends and those type of games. And it was a few buddies of mine that were playing it. We kind of got into it. And then I went into Warzone, obviously, and then from there on, transitioning over into Black Ops and stuff. So to me, the mechanics of the gameplay is very nice. I love the support for DLSS with the NVIDIA the 2080 Ti that I have here on the Samsung monitor, and it works just absolutely fantastic. So ultra wide, 240 hertz, 1440p gameplay for the win. So I love it, and I definitely appreciate the gaming. Um, I think tomorrow is going to be a very big nerding out. Gary, I'm with you. It's the show is going to be really nice, very well structured. The Having a production crew around producing, like for the most part, all I have to do is make sure my network connection is stable. Obviously, make sure there's nobody else is using the network, but I kind of do that already. And I will be using both the overhead and the standard camera, as well as the other. Um, and it's going to be kind of going through it tomorrow. So it's going to be very nice, very professional, very. I would have loved for that to be more of an in-person experience. Unfortunately, this year, not possible. And surprisingly, it's going on. Not sure if the same crowd would be watching both, but um, Joe's asking in the comment. So my event actually goes on for a much longer period. There's a lot of other presenters and p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So if I'm not mistaken, unfortunately, it's going to be about UK time, mostly because I think we are GMT -8. So about 10 p.m. Your time, UK time. And of course, you start kind of backing it up or extending it depending on where things are. It's going to be online. The link is in the description below for the B Alpha event for the registration. It is free. And if you register, I think you're entered into the raffle that they're putting up. They're going to be giving out a Sony Alpha 1, so an A1 camera which just announced. So think of that much of a prize. It's very nice. It's very nice. So, and if you guys can obviously jump in the chat, I would definitely appreciate that. And Vasico, so you're so for the show tomorrow, for sure, if there's going to be a setup just to kind of go through, trimming, getting everything kind of clean up. But so I don't use hairspray for the beard. If you're not familiar with it, I use pomade. So pomade works much better for me as far as hold and getting it, configured right, so I don't get any of those little, stragglers or any of the normal fuzz kind of thing going on. And it's going to be really, really nice. So if you guys, if you're not doing anything and you're hanging out and you want to be able to just check it out and, wish me best of luck, I guess, as I hope it does go through. Davin is in there. Yeah, no, definitely. We'll definitely make sure that it's good. my biggest thing was I made sure that Sony was comfortable with me wearing, Dragon Ball stuff, and that if they wanted me to change, obviously open to it, whatever they feel like is more appropriate for the show. But the thing is that they wanted to make sure that it was just, again, aesthetically to what we normally show on the channel, what I normally use this tech for. So that's the biggest thing. Oh, dude. Aditya kicking it with the super chat. Thank you. Good luck tomorrow, TK. You're gonna do awesome. Stay calm, breathe. You're one of the most deserving people I know. It's a little bit late for me at around 20. It's almost 11 o'clock his time, but I'll stay up awake with some tea in hand. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you very much, Aditya. It is a little bit the timing is different, but I don't even know if there is going to be like after after the show's over, kind of like replay events opportunity, or like what segments were going to be available. Because I for sure I would love to be able to, if they allow me, to at least put my segment up on the channel, to kind of share that with everybody on the channel, if you guys are able to. I haven't reached out to see if they were able to do that yet, but we'll hear definitely something from them very soon. I know tomorrow for me, I will be on a little bit earlier. So again, all of the stuff, all the cool things, and we'll have to see how that goes. But thank you, Aditya, kicking it off for sure. So as far as the videos and everything that we had on the channel this week, I didn't put out a lot of videos. There's a couple of videos that we pushed out. The main one obviously was the Android 12 hidden features that we put out, and that was kind of like the bigger one that we had in there. Yeah. So for Joe, like I said, roughly about 10 p.m. So 2200 UK time, because of the time difference, because of the whole 2 plus 8 plus 9. I think because I think Aditya is 1 hour difference from you, so overall should be pretty good. And the A1 camera though, seriously, like I'm I'm a little bit bummed because I can't be in the show at the same time as being on the show. I don't know if that kind of makes sense. But we'll have to see how things are, as far as the experience tomorrow. The Xperia Pro itself is amazing. It truly takes everything that is great about the Xperia 1 Mark II and then adds all the extra connectivity. I don't have ultra wideband in my area, so I ended up having to. I used some of the footage from when I had from the first unit, and since I did the wideband test there, but I've actually done a couple of live streams on the A7S III through the Xperia Pro on 4G LTE, and as well as sub-6 5G from Verizon in my area, and it actually performed quite well. Like, I mean, ultra wideband, I can imagine. If I'm streaming 4K or I'm having to upload 4K content off the camera or off the actual Xperia Pro, I can see where the ultra wideband kind of kicks in there. Rolando's in the chat, man. He keep me ready for tomorrow. We're getting there. We're getting there, Rolando. It's exciting. It's crazy. Between that and me researching the Xperia Pro, not the Xperia Pro, but me researching the Model 3, it's been crazy. It's been crazy going on just to kind of see how things are going. But yeah, kind of a chilled weekend. Not a lot of news kind of going up. I think next month is going to be obviously the bigger, busier month for many things coming up. I'm looking forward to see what Red Magic has to offer, as well as what the ROG Phone 5 are going to be. We've seen some information kind of teased out earlier, but again, we'll have to see how things kind of go through. We're getting pretty close, I think, if I'm not mistaken, to when OnePlus are going to start announcing it. That's what I was trying to say. I think Oppo, if I'm not mistaken, Oppo, there's rumors going on that the release of the Find X3 or that Find X3 series is coming up next month as well. So that's also a big factor. Things like that. I mean, just really, really crazy, crazy season. Like, I want to say Techtober, because there's just too many devices, and depending on how well I'm able to work at or try to see if what I'm able to actually be able to get here and get to cover for you guys. Juan's working on the S21 video, and I think at some point I'm probably going to also share with him the Mi 11 that I have, so that he can also do some comparisons with that. He's doing some really good content on that as well. I really appreciate that he's spending some time with it, out of his time, because to me, I felt like the S21 is a great entry price, but there's quite a few compromises that were done in the new line that, if you really get it, it's literally kind of like an almost enticing you to go to the next level and to the next level. Joe's talking about so the Find X3. Oh, wow. That's not even the Find X3 Pro. is rumored to be around 1,200 pounds. Wow, that is high. That is pretty. Oh, okay. Sorry. I was going to say for the 3 is at 1,200 pounds. I can only imagine how bad the well, not bad, but so short answer, they're going to be somewhat in the same price range. But I think if I'm not mistaken, that's where they were last year. Now, keep in mind the Find X series from Oppo is definitely, it's not going to be available in the US, so we'll have to see how that works as far as functionality and 5G support and so on. If they end up doing it more. That's a perfect question. More than likely, Matt will be jumping onto that. Last year, he went on the Find X2. No, he did the Find X2 Pro, and he was also kind of working on that part. So he was definitely very much engaged on Oppo's side. And I think right now he literally just got the S21 Ultra last week, and I think that's the Exynos 2100 model. But we'll have to hit him up, man. He's big into gaming. So the question, Joe, honestly, if we or Davin, if we're going to ask that question, we should ask: Will Matt get the ROG Phone 5 or get the Find X3 Pro? Because the reality of the matter is, he's also a big ROG phone guy. So having something like the ROG, and I'm hoping it does actually release in the UK as well, will also be something that it'll have to check it out. I'm still, as you guys know, we're still using the ROG Phone 2. The resaved, screen replaced, unfortunately screen delaminating ROG Phone 2, but it still works, man. So we'll keep using it till it actually gets us to the next edition, maybe. Okay, here. So El Josa's talking about. So apparently, it will have about a 25x magnification macro lens, going opposite the Samsung one, of course, with no zoom. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be what doesn't Matt Tyler get? It depends on the day of the week. That's all I have to say. Because I think at one point I thought he had the S21, and then at some point he also he was up to the S21 Ultra, which I don't know. I would love to hear his opinion of going from using one over to using the other. The X21 for me wasn't mostly a phone that I was planning on using as much. I felt like the S21, which again, I got a lot of accessories that covered both the S21 and the S21 Ultra. So I picked it up on a loan or lease program through my phone company, and I'll be upgrading to hopefully the next LG, if we hear something from LG in the near future. Um, Yeah, no, definitely. I'm glad Aditya's doing good. Gary, the LG Velvet Duo, basically anything with a unique form factor, always. If I'm not mistaken, the Xperia Pro has an always on display in landscape. Uh, yeah. Actually, did I not? Yeah, I thought I turned it off. I thought. I think it depends on the orientation that you have. So let me see here if we can turn that on. I want to say it does. So display here, display, adaptive brightness. Nope, no, da, da, da. Here, where is always on? Okay, why is it not showing up in here? So all. Okay, I don't know why I can't seem to find it, but I thought it would be under display. The screen size, lock screen display. Here it is. Clock, touch, adaptive, lock screen messages. Oh, here's ambient display. No, I have it on. Oh, always on. Sorry, I had it on smart on. So let's go ahead and turn it off here. Let's turn off and turn it on. Nope, it doesn't seem like it changes. So here, you go sideways. It doesn't seem like the always on display changes. It does with the lock screen. So here, if I lock it up and we turn on the lock screen does have a landscape mode. So not the always on display, but the lock screen definitely. Is there settings for that? I can't find it anywhere on my Xperia 1 Mark II and Android 11. At least in the system, it doesn't have it on the device for it to be in landscape. Now, the only thing I probably would say, maybe it could be triggered with maybe an accessory that could trigger it to be in more of a dock mode. Maybe that's what you're referring to, but it's not in the settings under always on display. So at least here, we have clocks. So there's the Sony clocks. You're able to change the flow option, alarm, lock screen, keep notifications, show notifications. I have auto rotations on, so it should, in theory, let's see, maybe it's the other way around. No, It doesn't seem like it works on this one, unless I'm missing something. I'll have to double check on that, Vesicos. Let me see here. Vesicos, dude, absolutely, absolutely. Prepare because for the sacrifice. We're summoning the wild Matt. Matt may be actually kind of stuck at the office today. I don't know. It depends on every Saturday. We have different. I don't know if his schedule changes obviously every week, but typically there's usually one weekend a month that he's busy on Saturdays, and that's the one weekend he usually doesn't hang out. But yeah, no, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing there. Uh, to his beard, greatest dude. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. And again, definitely make sure to check out Joe's secondary. I think it's called Joe's Monochrome. It's linked into his bio on his Instagram profile. If you haven't checked him out, Joe Hickey, and a lot of nice monochrome pictures using his Pixel. So for sure, very very nice. The so Gary's referencing the conversation that we had on the Model 3. There's a lot of things that I'm thinking about the Model 3. What can we do? What are the options that we can actually consider? But for me, I'm like, for some reason, I'm like looking into that whole, I'm appreciating what it offered. And from what I remember driving it for the last few years ago, it was a lot of fun. It's a little bit, definitely a smaller car from the sense of what I'm used to, but for a quick drive around town, taking care of errands, going to work, coming back to work, I think it's a very easy car to get in and out of. Gas pricing, or at least refueling it, is a lot cheaper than gas. For us here in California, and I'm not sure about the rest of the states, obviously, we have it's essentially, let's say, think of it this way, where we're paying about almost $4, $370 a gallon per gas. It's comparable to about 26 cents a mile when it comes down to pricing. So filling up a Tesla like a Model 3 is about $19 from 0 to 100%, which you'll never be able to do because you should never get the down to zero. But filling up like a regular car, that 15, 16 gallon, you're running about close to $50. So think of that like $30 every time you go to the gas station to fill up. You're saving that much. Plus, on top of that, if you're able to basically charge it at home off peak hours, it's even cheaper. I'm talking about that rate that I just mentioned to you guys. At least from my research, is the supercharging, which is not which is a little bit more expensive than regular. So there's going to be other options to do. And for me, that's the main benefit here. I want to the truck that we have is definitely a lot worse on mileage. Let's just say that. And switching to something like this will definitely be beneficial for us to kind of see what we can do and what we have options for. Sorry, I was stepping on something here. Nice. Oh, here. So Aditya is having nice. I really nice to mess around with the dedicated. FLAC player. Yes, yes, definitely. Glad you're enjoying it. Huawei used to have dynamic amp, not an anemic. Have they improved it on it there? Let's see here. Everybody's doing great. I'm really happy that you guys are doing good. Not a lot of things kind of going on. I know it's kind of like typically I have a lot of kind of things to kind of cover. I'm reading more so just like my mind is focused for tomorrow, trying to get things kind of going on. So, okay. So that some of these Chinese cars, so there's a lot of other EV cars that are in the market. Very few of them are in the US market. So you want to keep in mind, in Europe, I think there's a lot more smaller EV cars that are more competitors to at least having just a Tesla. In the US, I think Hyundai has one of them. I think we have the e-tron that's coming from Audi. There is obviously there's the I want to say the Leaf, the Nissan Leaf, I think is also another option. So there's a few options that have been around for some time. The biggest concern that I find with some of those options is the support network. Tesla has the biggest support network currently available in the US across multiple stations and availability in many, many areas. And that's a big factor for me because if I ever do want to drive it, like an example would be for this. My day job has actually in the parking lot that we are in, they actually have chargers for EVs, and obviously Teslas are more supported. Those are things that always, whenever you're considering using something that is purely electrical, not a hybrid like a Prius, it becomes a big factor that you want to kind of make sure that the infrastructure around in your area currently can support you being using this as a primary driving car, that you wouldn't have to worry about it. I don't know if if I'm not mistaken, I think the chargers that they include with it are not fast enough to fully charge it overnight. If you're trying to just use it over the regular wall outlet here in the US. So that would also be some type of another investment too, that if we want to kind of look into it. So something like that, we'll have to kind of keep an eye out for that. But I'm interested to see what they have, what they would offer us in the as far as like rebates and so on. I've only seen a couple. One of them being an automatic discount. The other one is kind of a rebate off your taxes, but they used to have a lot more rebates, like around 7 or 8,000, to entice people to go more clean. And I like it. I like the fact that it offers it. Uh, but I need to kind of work out also the financial part, as I think Davin was mentioning it earlier in the video. It's definitely a lot more expensive than a standard regular car, like that's comparable in size. Uh, but the tech that comes with it is what I'm really interested in. It's the fact that as time goes on, the car gets better with an over-the-air update, and they keep bringing in new features, even to the original Model 3 that was first released. So just think of it that way. Autopilot also is standard. A lot of cool things for me, and the sporty, smaller form factor of it is definitely very appealing. You're not going to have a lot of things in the car. You're not going to try to use it to haul a lot of things. You just use it to enjoy it. That's the best way to say it. Um, oh, here. So let me see here. So yeah, can you use a generic EV charging port for the Tesla, or are you restricted to first-party stations? If I'm not mistaken, I think there is a support, or there's an adapter conversion that you're able to use different other stations that are not everyone, but in a sense, you are able to use other stations. They just don't charge at the same rate, and the speed is a lot slower. So more of a top off, not necessarily a full up. Like if you're trying to go into, I know Whole Foods has a charging station in front of it, at least from where I am, and most of the ones I go to, but they typically only have like one EV charge station. So it's something to keep in mind. But like I said, for me, at least, having a charging station that has a supercharging station that has 32 stalls is very big here in the at least in my area. So from a support center, it definitely works great. I can still use the little adapter that they include in the car if I decide to go with it, to kind of just top it off overnight. It's a much slower. They rate it basically like it charges 3 to 4 miles an hour, as opposed to a supercharger that can do up to 40 miles an hour. So think of it, it's a much massive, big change there. Um, I guess the range might be extremely low because of there are not many spaces, too many batteries on smaller cars. There's that factor as well. I saw a commercial from Hyundai that was announcing a car. There was a brand new EV that's coming up, and it's advertised to run about 259 miles. That's the maximum range on it. That's a little bit of, I mean, obviously it's a long distance. I'm not going to say that this is very short. But the Model 3 that I'm considering, if the one I was looking into, which was the long range model, goes all the way up to 350. So there's an extra 100 miles, which could literally end up being, where you only have to charge it once a week for $20. So that is just cost efficiency, cost per usage that you really want to be able to get out of your car. So those are the things I appreciate. Find someone with a Power Boost F-150 with the 7.2 kilowatt option. They can charge up your electric car. I'll have to keep looking around. But yeah, there's a lot of options. They do have quite an extensive charging system. But you're right, making sure to have access to it. And I think I want to remember at one point, somebody sent me an email. It was a campaign or an Indiegogo or something like that, where they had a portable battery that they were that they were trying to promote as the alternative or an option for you to have like a backup battery for your Tesla, meaning you can have it in the trunk, in the bottom part of the trunk, the hidden part. And then if you ever run out of juice or you need to top it off, you can literally just stop the car, park the car and then run it, connect it to the actual charger, and then charge up your car and kind of give you a boost, or at least to get you to a supercharging station. So that was interesting. I would definitely be interested to see something like that. Let me see here. Davin Davis. Here. Oh, dude, I see. I see you in a truck when that comes out. The Cybertruck is definitely a big. I saw that. It's a very cool looking truck. Let's just say that it's a very cool looking truck. But for some reason, the design for me right now is very. I don't know. I would have to see it in person. From seeing it in pictures and seeing the demos, and I know for a fact a few of my friends in the space on YouTube at least are they've already put in their down payments. They're looking to get it, so that's going to be interesting. But Cybertruck is that is a beast. That is I would have to get a new house if I want to get a Cybertruck, because I don't know where I would park it. Let's just say that. Um, Oh man, okay. Yeah. Looking forward to TK's Tesla adventures. I'm still thinking about it. I want to see what options are available. There's not a lot of selection. That's the thing. It's not like you can't customize them the way you can customize regular cars. Like when you try to buy a Honda, you're trying to buy a Toyota, or whatever. There's usually trim level, and then there are options, things that you could add. So you can actually kind of customize it, pre-order it, or try to find the right side. Um, when it comes to Tesla, it's pretty much just three trim, three systems. There's the standard, long range, and performance, and the price reflects the benefit. Uh, Color selection, you can change a couple of colors, between standard like blue, gray, silver from the white. So white is included. Blue, gray, silver is I think it's like $1,000 more. And then if you want to go to red, it's like a 2K. So those are the things, like minor changes, a couple of wheel changes as far as the size of the tires. And if you want to do the full self-driving or not, and that's totally optional. The good thing about it is the full self-driving functionality is technically built into the car, so the hardware is there, but the features are built in as in over-the-air update. So if you want to subscribe to it, you want to get it, you can definitely do that. Those are things that you would want to be able to try out and see how things are going. So for me, the short answer is it's very intriguing. I want to see how much we can do with the trade-in. If that's something that I'm able to do with my truck, what can we do from there? And how much does it end up being going in for cost? So we need to do the numbers. That's literally what it is. The numbers are going to be the biggest factor for me and what I'm able to do. If it's something that's doable, you never know. We may be in a show next time we talk, or whenever that happens. We'll be live streaming from the Tesla in the car, and we'll be on an Xperia Pro streaming straight off of an A7S III, and just geeking out for like tech heaven. Just definitely not driving if that ends up happening. We'll have to see how that goes. Joe saying Hyundai's is looking to make moves. There was rumors about one point that they were making Apple car. So we saw the rumors. Obviously, the using Apple's the name and just trying to integrate Apple as a car maker. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much of a good relationship or a beneficial relationship it is for Nissan, or sorry, for Hyundai. I think it's more so beneficial for Apple to learn the ins and outs of being in that ecosystem. That's about one thing. Also, like I said, no Android Auto and no Apple CarPlay on Teslas. It's literally all their entire UI. It's a very nice UI, but very there's no center console. I mean, there is center console. Sorry, there's no buttons anywhere on there other than the two buttons on the steering wheel, and then everything else is controlled through a tablet. So it's very tech oriented, which makes me feel like I'm running on a tablet. So it's going to be very interesting. Let me see, but let me know. I mean, in your mind, do you guys know anybody that runs or uses a Model 3, and do they like it? Joe, yes, the slow charger is included in the trunk. It is included with the car. It's a charger that connects to the wall, so it uses a regular 110 outlet here in the US. But if you want to go higher, you want to do a little bit more, you have to upgrade it and get the higher end charger, or even install a charging station, which runs off the power for the house. So you don't have to have solar panels. But it ends up being a little bit more cost efficient. And then you can also schedule it so that you can charge your car during off-peak hours, where the rate for charge or the rate per kilowatt is actually even cheaper than the normal way because of the existing ecosystem. So there's many things you could do. And with those wall chargers, like I said, you could charge up to 40 miles an hour, 40 miles per hour charge. So think of it as like a long range or anything like that. You could top it off pretty quickly. Very, very nice. But yes, the charger does come in the box. Samsung needs to pick up the pace. Okay, good. Rat CPU man. Okay, Rad CPU man. I think that's what it is. I've had the Model 3 for almost 2 years, and you can get up to 40 amp plug for the charger that comes with the car, and then install a 40 amp 240 watt outlet that you can charge the car at 30 miles around average per hour. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. I read somewhere they were talking about the home charger. It's about, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 500 to buy the Tesla one, and then you have to get an electrician to install it, and whole circuit breaker and all of that. Initially, I think I was thinking if I do end up getting this, it'll end up be something I get it after, because I'm not that far from a charging station. And although super slow, using the built-in chargers that they include in the car is more of just to top it off, kind of like let it just trickle charge for a while, till I'm able to find out if I do have what I need to be able to get this installed on the just bare minimum. I don't want to have to go through and upgrade the entire circuit breaker, because I've seen videos where people could not install it or get it installed, and they had to get an electrician to upgrade their circuit breaker in the house. But yeah, Rat CPU, man, how is it? How has it been after a couple of years of using it? Is it still as fun as it was, and are you excited about some of the new features that are coming in? Definitely would love to see that. Let me see here. Abdulaziz, ahlan, ahlan, salam alaikum. Matt Tyler is in the chat. Hello there. Sorry, guys, stuck at work today, but just wanted to drop in and say hi. We've been trying to summon you with our mental abilities the whole show, Matt, just to kind of see if you were going to get either the Find X3 Pro or the ROG Phone 5, because that would be interesting. Because we know you love both brands, so we'd love to see where you are. Wait, what are you on now, TK? My bet is a Toyota or Kia. I don't see you as awesome using German cars. No. So we have right now is a Nissan. It's a Nissan Frontier. It's a truck. It's a pickup truck, and we have that. And then my wife has her own car, so it's still technically a 2-car home. But I feel like just using the truck on the daily, we haven't used it as much as we wanted for the amount of time that we've had it. So it's definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, I used to have a long time ago. It's a big part of what we talked about at the beginning. I used to have a Toyota Celica, and then we went to a Toyota Supra, then went to a Honda. So it's been typically Toyota, Honda for the most part. And then of course, Nissan. So I also had a Nissan Maxima at one point. Let me see here. Matt Tyler, man, everybody's in there, dude. Always. Joey B, no, it's actually just my normal coffee in the morning. So depending on what I have, and it's the only thing is basically I'm using it with the new cups. So here's the Dragon Ball Ultra Instinct Goku, that little short video that I posted on the channel a couple of days ago, which I don't know why I keep doing shorts. I like the form factor. I like the simplicity of what they do, but I don't seem to be a way for me to figure out how to get it to go as a short, or just maybe not enough interest in Goku glass cups, I guess. But yeah, no, I do sometimes have some tea in there. I also like to do a combination of tea and coffee. I think it's called the yin yang. I'm probably butchering it. It's a Cantonese drink where they like to combine both, like an herbal, like an oolong tea, with some type of like coffee to give it a little bit more boost. But I haven't done that for some time. Oh, Ronald, yes. So the the Ford's Mach E is on the market now. So I saw that, and I like the fact that what it offers. I've seen like different reviews on it and so on. But it again goes back to the whole like I like the Ford style. I like the what it stands for, obviously, for the whole Ford experience. But I feel like the Tesla will probably be a little bit more in the sense of how things keep getting better over time. That's the other thing that I'm really happy with. What Tesla has been able to do for the Model 3 since it's first released to the whatever the new version, I think it's 2021 now. It's very big. I mean, the fact it's like kind of like when we talk about NVIDIA, right? The NVIDIA Shield TV, the original NVIDIA Shield TV, keeps getting better as time goes on. NVIDIA keeps supporting it, updating the software, providing new features, and that's the thing that I don't think. Not to say that I'm saying that Ford won't do it, but typical buying experience from most car manufacturers is you buy what you buy and you're stuck with what you have till you decide to sell it and get something else. At one point, when you have navigations and stuff like that in the car, I remember back in the day, you'd buy the car, you get a navigation disc sitting in the back, and then you're pretty much stuck to whatever that is. And if you want to upgrade it a few years later, that's $300 to $400 upgrade for the maps. That's something that I felt like was definitely very different with Tesla, because the updates are not paid for. You're not paying for OTA updates. I don't know if they will go into that system at some point, but at this point, with all of their systems, OTA updates keep providing more features, new improvements, optimizations, listening to their user base, and providing updates and changes that actually improve the experience of using your Tesla. So, adding more functions, more games when you're sitting in and charging at the charging station, having a large display with a great sound system is also really nice. You can watch a Netflix movie in about 30 minutes or so. Not the whole movie, obviously, but you know what I mean. But as far as what Ford is offering right now, I want to see how Ford works after some time with the model with the new Mach E. I saw that car last year at CES. It looks amazing. The blue is really nice. It's almost that OnePlus Nord blue-ish. It's more bluish than greenish than what we saw with the OnePlus Nord. But we'll have to see. Uh, oh man, let me see here. I think I'm a little bit behind. So Rollins says, don't expect to put a supercharger at your house. Residential housing can't cover the power requirements. Absolutely. The intention of having home charging for me would really be more for topping off, not supercharging it in the sense of what it normally gets from a supercharger. I know the supercharger can basically go like ridiculous amount of speed, depending on where you are charging it. But yeah, no, like I said, for now, I'm only considering it if it's like at a much more reduced pricing. 500 for the charger itself plus installation, which could be somewhere between $200 to $300. That's a big jump. That just for something to be able to that I can just drive 7 minutes, when I'm getting my groceries and get it charged. So the support system is much better, which is what I like. Let me see here. Collins. Oh yeah, 240 at 30 amp. Is normal housing power? Yes. 240 at 30 amps. I don't suppose that it would be functional for sure. TK hashtag Tesla sponsored. I wish, but I do not. I mean, if I do end up getting the car, for sure, you guys can count on. There'll be some content, obviously, on the channel to cover some of the experiences set up. I may even do first tips and I don't know. I don't know what I would do. But the big thing about it is so Rad CPU, man, I think that's a good question. So I thought about buying the $500 wall charger, but you can get the 1450 watt plug is about $30 to $40. And I think he's talking about the converter for the existing plug that they come in. You do have to install an outlet that can use that one's 100 to 500 depending on the power station situation. The power plug that it uses is not a standard 3-prong plug the way we use them. It's a standard, like what we use for our PCs or accessories. It's actually more of a higher ampage plug, which will allow us to do the higher charging. But see, that's the solution is if you don't want to buy this the charging station. The charging station will also require some additional specific installation for it, which means it only works for that station and it doesn't actually work with anything else. What Rat CPU Man is actually mentioning here is referring to getting a specific outlet that supports the higher ampage, the one that the plug that you're able to buy. It's an adapter for the existing package in the car, and that can actually also help a lot and keep us, give me the ability of charging it, but not necessarily have to break the bank with that one. Shaki 165. Hey man, how you doing? Let me see here. Oh, so here. So thoughts on the ROG Phone 5 from 01. I think the ROG Phone 5, first we know obviously is why it's not going to the ROG Phone 4. 5 is going to be the one. I think gaming phones have a big presence, have a big need for us now. They're becoming the focus of how do manufacturers make a phone specific for a niche market. So it's not necessarily something that everybody is going to jump at it. ROG Phone 3 was a very minor upgrade. We lost the headphone jack from the ROG Phone 3, ROG Phone 2. But they kept the large 144 hertz display. We had the OLED panel. Of course, we had the ability of still having the nice cooling options. ROG Phone 5, from what I've seen, obviously a massive upgrade. There's going to be something to feed into the gaming experience. My hope is that they continue with the same essence of experience what we've seen with the ROG Phone 3. I'm not 100% sure how many models they're going to have, because with the 3, if I'm not mistaken, I think they had a standard 3, which was the $799 model, the entry level, and they kind of went step up, but based on what you were looking for. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to offer. I'm also kind of looking forward to see what Red Magic does. Last year, I got a chance to play with the Red Magic 5, and that was the world first 144 hertz display device. This year, I don't see them breaking any, refresh rate resolution. I mean, or well, I don't know. We'll have to see. But again, just to see what they offer. Maybe the Red Magic 5G, Red Magic 6 can go QHD at 120 now. Give us a little bit more. May not be 144, but it's still very nice. Chucky, let's get those like up. Oh, for sure, man. Anything you guys can do, always appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. Here. So Rad CPU. I love the car just as much. I bought it with the full self-driving with the car and have enjoyed using it as it's developed. So as I mentioned to you guys before, so I'm pretty sure Rad CPU man got in where it makes sense because self-driving when I tested the car 2 years ago or so didn't have the new features that they're talking about. The whole literally surface street self-driving on the freeway self-driving. It was more of an autopilot at the time, and obviously he's reaping in the benefits now and getting all the extra updates. And that's the biggest reason why, if I was thinking, well, now that I'm thinking about an electric car, why I thought the Tesla would be something that I would consider more. It's just existing ecosystem, existing update system, and I just don't know how Ford is going to do it. So maybe just need a little bit more time and see how Ford, how Hyundai, how some of the other companies do it with updates and new features. Typically, other car companies, they don't give you new features on a car once you've sold. You're kind of with whatever you have, and maybe a few fixes, bug fixes in here and there, but I don't foresee them being in the same league as what Tesla's trying to do. But at least, I'm very much open to seeing what they offer and what they have to say. But I'm glad Rad CPU man is big on still enjoys the car as much as he did a couple of years ago, because that just speaks to the longevity of the enjoyment of the car. Like I said, tried it 2 years ago. It was a rental. Now, if I'm able to get into it, there's obviously a much bigger investment, and again, there's a support thing that has to go around it. Let me see what else we have here. So here, the Mach-E does have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay and the OTA update capable. So it's not the question of not having OTA updates, as I mentioned, Ronald. It's more about how long does Ford continue to update and add features. Again, it's the comparable to the market, right? Tesla, I feel like for the most part, set a very high standard for updates and support, where just from using Fords and cars like the typical like that, we'll have to see how they kind of do. The Android Auto wireless, though, that is a big factor for me. I saw Android Auto for, I want to say it's the Hyundai. It was a Hyundai car a couple of years ago in 2019. Google I/O, and they had a car that did have an early version of Android Auto with an EV centric ecosystem. I would be interested to see how that kind of works in the sense of making it as the default system. I think for most of the reviews that I've seen, they've only focused on using the built-in infotainment system as well as the navigation system that Ford had in there. So I'll have to check a little bit more and see which version of Android Auto. Is it just wireless to what we normally use, and how does it work with the EV system? I'd love to be able to see some of those options, but I didn't get a chance to see it. I must have missed that part. For some reason, I anticipated once Tesla didn't have it, other manufacturers wouldn't. But if Ford was to do it, that would be a big change. I hope that would kind of force also some of the other manufacturers to kind of go with it. Dominic wanted to saying I do have the ROG phone too, but I think I'm not going to buy the ROG. I'm not going to buy another ROG phone because of the software. It's a bit buggy. I have to say the Republic of Gamers. I got the Tencent edition version of the phone, so I didn't have the European or the US model of the ROG phone 2. It's been consistently getting updates. I mean, they've done a lot of improvements on it. I replaced the screen, as you guys probably remember, as we had that little snafu with it, and it seems to still be working. For me, what's going on right now, it's the display that I installed. Because of the way the construction of the ROG phone 2 is done, the display is actually literally they're using a double-sided adhesive tape all around the edges of the phone. And for me, at some point or another, I guess it got delaminated again, and I was hoping that it wouldn't. But it still works, so I'll use it till its last breath, and maybe we'll do another screen replacement again, depending on how things are going. Let me see. I think I may have missed a couple. Here. With a gas car, fill up when you fill up when you get low. With the electric car, it's better to treat it like a cell phone and top it off every night. So it and those are the things to keep in mind. I think we mentioned it at the beginning. You charging the car or charging a Tesla becomes a lot more, I would say, closely associated to charging a smartphone because of the type of technology that you have in there. So the way I look at it is just of what can you do with it, what can we charge, and how long does it take to charge at home. But also the fact that a lot of people are saying that you do not charge it to 100% unless you're doing a long distance trip. So for the most part, you're going to keep it around maybe to 80, 90, depending where you are. 80, 90% battery charge, and that's going to be perfectly fine. And if you're only driving it in and around the city and doing few minor here and there, like 30, 35 miles a day, charging it at night may not be an issue at all. And like I said, if I can keep it charged with the regular AC outlet, it should be fine. I think it'll be good. But yeah, I appreciate the comment there, Rat CPU. Let me see here. What do we have here? Oh, if your daily drive is about 50 to 60 miles, you can probably get away with 110 volt. Just keep it plugged in all the time when you're at home, which is perfectly fine. Exactly. I think that's probably we're going to be more the approach initially, and want to see how that kind of works. So essentially, top it off from a supercharger, and then just switch over to keeping it, like I said, not trickle charge, but slow charging it at home. And if that doesn't become it doesn't work, then at some point we'll be able to kind of switch it over. There is a few more charging stations closer to during my day job stuff, as well as in the neighboring towns. So it's not like we're totally out. We'll have to see how that kind of goes. So Joe, okay, great. So I use Android Auto connected wired to my car's the Vauxhall. It's an Opel. No, I'm familiar with the I don't think Opel is very big in the States, but I'm familiar with the brand in Europe. So I've used Android Auto even on the truck. I have Android Auto in there as well. I like Android Auto for the features that it offers, is the automation functions that it comes, right? It makes it easy for me to use Android Auto. It makes it the maps and the navigation and everything works great. But it's more so the automation and the usage of Android Auto that I like. Now, considering the fact that I actually have the assistant sitting on my wrist all the time, and I can technically, as I'm driving, call out on the assistant on my watch and technically, play a song, do whatever I normally would have done on Android Auto directly from it, and then use the infotainment system from Tesla. I also, which is, again, I went really, really deep into some of those rabbit holes when it comes to videos. There's actually a very big way of using Auto Voice and Tasker to automate functions using the assistant to actually control the car by using Tasker as a function. So to me, those are kind of nice geeky things. It's like modding your car or trying to automate the car using Tasker. So that's a big factor for me that I'm really enjoying. I guess I'm dreaming about it. That's reality. I don't have the car, but if that is something that I'm considering, that'll be something I want to go with as well. Here, Aditi, I think okay. So Rad CPU, man. Your work chargers are probably a J1772 plug, and for those would be basically 30 to 20 to 40 amps. So you can get topped off easy there. Mine came with that adapter, but it would be worth if you could get a charge for free at work. And I think that's the biggest thing that I kind of like when I started looking at it as a support system. Yeah, while I'm in the office during the day and I'm not having to drive the car, absolutely. Why not take the benefit of getting that benefit that comes from work? So it is going to be obviously when that kind of comes back as the standard. That's the biggest part of it. For where we are right now and what we do, I think overall the experience is just superchargers and home trickle charge. I guess that'll be the best one. Sync 4 and Bluetooth. So if I'm not mistaken, Sync 4 that is Ford, right, Ronald? Yeah, that is Ford, I think. Exactly. Joe, exactly why I need to charge my watch, man. It's for Android Auto. I'll change my watch. It's one of those things you really get to enjoy. I've used Android Auto for a long time, and it's a great piece of tech. Although not perfect at all. It has its own concerns, some issues. Like for one thing at all that never gets me. The assistant on Android Auto, for some reason or another, forgets the automation. Like, like if you have the automated system where you say, like you set up in the app, who is your brother or who's your family member. More so than not, if it remembers it today that I say, let's say, call my wife, and then some days it'll be like, okay, calling, and it'll start dialing the number. But on other days, it just totally forgets what number that I want it to call, because it's suddenly like something changed in the contact, which it didn't. Then it asks myself, which number would you like to call? And it becomes more of a conversation. And I feel like it's weird. Like, it doesn't do that on the phone, but Android Auto has some concerns. Again, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that kind of goes through. But I think Ronald's mentioning that Ford now has Sync 4, which enables, I'm assuming that's what enables the wireless Android Auto. Oh, okay. So that's this. Yeah. So Saabs and Saturns. So Saturns are still around. Saabs are very. It's not as popular. Let's just say that it's not as popular of a car in the U.S. But yes, that could be it as well. But Opel, I think in the U.S. I have not seen. I mean, I've seen them maybe, but not as often. They're typically imports if they brought into the U.S. Dude, no, definitely for sure. So yeah. With that being said, let me see here. I think it's that time of the chat. I believe the only box that did, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, definitely. So if you guys want, please make sure to drop in the hashtag TKRBay or TKception. Sorry, I don't know why I said TKRBay. Let me do this here. We're gonna minimize this guy. I'll bring it in here, and let's go ahead and bring it in. Chat is running a little bit slow today. Let me double check here. I don't know why. Okay, I think I'm looking at some other things here. Okay. Yeah, Joey B, as always. Yeah, somehow StreamYard's taking a little bit. It's like a trickle chart. Trickle. I said that word too many times. Let me see here. Oh, here I have an email. No, and I'm not trying to do that. Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Okay. Okay. So we'll do that in a second. So with that being said, I do want to start it off with everybody in the show. We're going to start up with Joey B, hashtag TKception. Let's go ahead and share the screen. And I probably oh no, that's right. I did know we could do that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and now, yes. There's always a delay. Never ever does that at all. So thank you to Joey, of course, for hanging out with us. Aditya, as always. Dominic One, of course. Hashtag. I think that's the Opel One company is as a Chrysler now. Davin Davis, thank you very much. Hashtag TKception, TK Alpha Bay. Check it out tomorrow at 2:00 Pacific Standard Time. Again, the link for that is in the description below. My Tech Reviews, Rolando, thank you very much, of course, for the support. Aditya, as always, kicking it, hanging out with us every single time. Some of the best people always hanging out with us. Always. Thank you. Kent, as always, at Dominic, that's a Fiat. I love the Fiats. Damn. Okay. Sorry. Gary, thank you very much for the super chat. Gary the Fireman, TKR Bay, TKception, and TK Alpha Bay. We are literally 24 hours away at this point, almost 24 hours away. And with that being said, I want to say thank you, of course, to everybody for hanging out with us, kicking it with us on your Saturday morning or Saturday afternoons, depending on what part of the world you're in. Sorry, let me realign my window here because I actually have a setup here where it's 2 monitors. There's the laptop monitor, which, as you can imagine, it's not big enough. And because of the distance where it is, the chat can become very small when it actually compared to the framing of StreamYard. So what I have is a secondary monitor that's a little bit bigger. So as I bring it in with the slightly higher resolution on it, it makes it bigger. It's easier for me to read. Hashtag TK. No, I'm not going to add that hashtag in there. Dominic One, of course, thank you very much. And of course, Maz B, always, man, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for everybody hanging out with us. Gary, always appreciate it. Best of luck tomorrow. TK, thank you. we'll have to see. Keep it tuned in. I will tweet out as I'm getting ready myself to get on the show. But again, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow. Make sure you guys check out Matt and Sam's Across the Podcast live stream as well, and of course, Juan Carlos on Monday with the SGGQA. It's literally about. It's very, very close. Yeah. So even though the show starts at 2, my part of it kind of starts a little bit earlier for the prep time and, to going in there and making sure audio and all of that stuff works. Yes, definitely. Davin, David, TK, crush it tomorrow for sure, guys. With your support, we're definitely going to be in there, and it'll be a very, it's a very big moment for the channel, if nothing else. And of course, for everybody here with all your support. And thank you to Sony for taking a chance and, reaching out and wanting to work with me, because again, I love what they do. And seriously, guys, if you're looking for cameras and it is something that you're considering as a professional camera, Sony cameras are some of the best ones on the market. Not sponsored. I'm not trying to, it's not a plug for them or because of what it is. It's because that's what I use. That's what I do. And, when I upgraded and I needed to go from the GH5, the A7S III was an easy decision. It answered and it fixes everything that you want when it comes to live streaming or even just, using a video camera. So be safe, stay safe. Make sure you connect with somebody, with your friends and family, maybe somebody you haven't talked to for some time. I'm pretty sure they'll be happy to hear from you. And check back tomorrow again on the Sony B Alpha channel. There'll be a tweet. I'll give you guys a link, of course, where to check it out. If you haven't registered, it's a free event, and it'll give you access, of course, to be entered into the giveaway. If you're lucky enough, hey man, congrats, and I hope you guys the best of luck. Thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. Rolando, Gary, Joe, Ken, Rad CPU guy. Of course, thank you for all of the inputs and all the comments that you had there with the Model 3. It's a very big move, but I can definitely appreciate what they offer. And, Ronald Connells, of course, thank you for hanging out with us as well. Appreciate having you in there. And Matt, for the few seconds that he was in there, thank you for hanging out with us, of course. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and be safe. Bye-bye for now.